All right, guys, let's get started. So this is the Labubu I have as a sample to show you, the first one I made. And now to get started, let me show you first the materials you need. You need the tan color yarn. I have this one is worsted number 3. So for this one, we're going to use the 3.5 hook. And I might as well show you both. We need a 3.5 and a 2.5. And you need the body color. In this case, I'm going to use this so that you can see the knots, because the Labubus have a very fuzzy body. So this is the one I used. But it is impossible to see the knots on this. And so I cannot count correctly on video. Like, I was kind of winging it when I made him. But I'm going to use this one for the video, because then we can see the knots and actually count all the stitches. You need black and white, and these are much thinner. These are worsted number 2, and this is where we'll use the 2.5 hook. This is for the eyes, the pupil and the white part of the eye, and then any color really for the nose. Some have the same color as the body, so you can use orange, yellow. I've seen online the nose varies depending on the color of the Labubu. And then your typical tools, the yarn needle and your little stitch markers. This is called the threader, needle threader. And this is just to push the fluff in and get some polyfill for the body. Okay, so now let's get started. Okay, so we are going to start by making the foot. Grab your tan yarn, 3.5 millimeter hook, and we are going to start with a chain. Remember, you don't count the loop, so you count the chains, and we do 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're gonna turn, or we go back and single stitch 5, starting on the second one from the hook. You don't do this first one, that's too close to the hook. You do the second one, and we count 5. Single stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we're going to do 2 single stitch on the corner, so basically an increase. We do 1, and you can put the little tail behind and do the second one with the tail on the right side, and 2. Oops. Okay. And then we're going to do 5 single stitch on the underside. Now we're going underneath. Be careful not to do it back in the corner one. Since that hole will be bigger, you'll be tempted to do that one, but make sure you start on the first one that's underneath. We're going to do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there we go. What we're going to do, we're doing an oval shape. That's why the feet are not circular, as you can see here. They're little ovals. And now you should have 12 stitches, and we are going to do single stitch 12 all around. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then we are going to do the next row we're going to do single stitch 12, but on the inner loop, or what some people call it, the front loop, which will be like you go under your chain and then you pull in through the middle. That's your inner loop or front loop only. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. And now the reason we do that is because it creates this little lip. When you do an inner loop, it shows the outer loop outside and it looks like a little extra margin there. So I wanted the feet to look, like the sole of the foot. And now we are gonna get ready to switch our yarn color. So go get your body color. Okay, so now that your foot is done, we are going to do the leg. So we're going to switch yarn. By the way, you can cut the yarn on your foot now. So we're going to find the end of the new color. So this is how you switch. We are going to go on the inner loop or front loop. And then you start with the old color, but you finish with the new color. Okay. And you kind of just pull to tighten it. Okay. And even though this does not look like the new, this already counts as 1, even though it doesn't look like the new color. And then we're going to continue the 12 single stitch all around in the outer loop. So we go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So remember, this is the chain. You're in the outer loop, right in between the two. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Amazing. We'll get covered with the new color on the next. Now that we're right here, we have to do the next 4 rounds. So from 5 to 8, just normal, neither outside or inside. So you basically do the first one, which will be the last of the old color. And then you continue with your 12 all around. Okay, so after you do your 4 rows, we can start hiding the little bits from the switch. Let's make this big just so I don't lose it. And you can hide the new color. Try and cover the old color with it. See how there's that tan color? Let's hide it there. The tan, we can hide it on the tan. Maybe on the lower part, like right there. Oops, let me get it through. And if you want to make the transition even smoother, you can oops, where's the blue? You could pull the blue back out, or whatever your second color is, like maybe out of here and then in there, and kind of just hide the color a little better. It's impossible to have a completely invisible transition. You can get very close, but you'll always see the switch. All right, and then I'll just leave it there. So there's as close as we get. And now you can go ahead and cut your first leg. Don't worry about leaving the 6 inches we always leave for sewing. You can cut it and hide all the leftover in here, and then stuff it with polyfill. And start your second leg, and don't cut your second leg. When you're at this point with your second leg, so stop the video and watch the previous one on how to make the leg. Follow the instructions up to your at this point exactly, but don't cut the yarn. When you're done with your second leg, let's watch the next video. Okay, so now that you have your 2 legs and you hid all the pieces, all the extra strings, you hide inside and then you stuff it a little bit. When you have your second leg, try and make sure that you finish when the oval is forward. If it's not there yet, even though you have your 12 stitches, just do a couple more. Let's make sure that you finish a little bit on the side of the foot. So I'm gonna do 2 or 3 more. I want it to be close to the right side. You're gonna see why in a little bit. Okay, so 2. Okay, I'm gonna do 3 more. Because we're gonna join these 2 legs together this way, like this. Both the ovals have to be like facing forward. And the way we do that is by doing a chain. Actually, I'm gonna do 1 more. So if you're like this, facing forward, make sure that you do 1 more so that you're on the side. I don't know how to say it, like 11 o'clock, I guess, if this was a clock. If the top of the foot was a clock, end at 11 o'clock. Okay. And then we're gonna do chain 3. We do count the first one here. We count all the chains. And you're gonna grab your second foot. And right here at about 1 o'clock, I guess, we're gonna insert our hook and you're gonna do a single stitch 1, and then we're gonna go all around. Let's do, I think it's 9 or 10, it's 10, single stitch 10. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see. So our leg will be like this. No, it'll be a little bit separate. 10. Let's do 1 more. So once we single stitch 10 all around, we're gonna leave 2 stitches and we're gonna chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And you're gonna grab the other leg, also leave 2 stitches, and on the third one, we're going to do single stitch 1. And that's how you join the legs. Now our next round, wait, did I leave 1? 1, 2, 3. Nope, I'm on 1 over. We gotta leave only 2 so that they're even. Ah, gotta find my spot. Okay. So leave 2 stitches and go in on the third one. So right here, single stitch 1, and this is basically how I join limbs. Now we will consider this round finished. Our next round, we're going to do this. You're gonna ignore these inner 2 loops and 2 loops that are, or 2 stitches that are just floating there. And don't worry, yes, at the end, this is how we're gonna do the body. It's gonna come up here like a ball. And yes, at the end, this will be open. And with the piece of the same yarn, we just sew that together, because otherwise the stuffing starts coming out of there. So I'll see you on the next video. Okay, so our next row, this is gonna be row 1. You should have 26 stitches, right? 10, 10, 3, and 3. So 26 stitches. So next row will be row 1, and we're gonna just go 26 all around. Let's go. Forward to fast speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forgot to mark it. Don't forget to mark where you start. I almost forgot. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now the chain. You simply go in between. 11, 12, 13. We'll continue. The next one. And then 13. We'll do this one and then because 13. And then we'll go. We'll skip. We have to go in the very first one. Here. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 28, 24, 25, 26. Okay. Oh. Now we have to do row 2, and we're going to go increasing as if we were doing a ball. So let's do the next row on the pattern, which will be single stitch 3, increase, repeat the same thing 6 times, and then the last time after you do it the 6th time, you do 2 single stitch. Okay, so now that I'm done doing the single stitch 44 all around, now we're going to have to start decreasing. So the way you're going to do the decrease is you're going to do the single stitch 5, decrease, single stitch 5, decrease, single stitch 5, decrease, like that 6 times. And then at the end, do the 2 single stitch. Okay, so now that you decreased and all the way down to 7 stitches, you will leave at least 20 inches of yarn, because we're going to sew this to the head once the head is done. And now the bottom, to close this, just cut a piece from the same yarn that you were using for the body. I just cut like 40 inches or so. And now we're just gonna sew it like a normal way that you would sew pants, I guess. First, make sure you go from the inside to the outside. That way the knot hides on the inside. The knot is on the inside. And then we're just gonna do like slip stitches like this. So we'll go to the top, from top to bottom. We'll get it here in the leg. And out here on this side of the leg. I think I cut too much yarn. I'd rather have more than too little. Okay. Now if you're working with fuzzy yarn, really fluffy, like this type, you're not going to see it at all. This type that I use just for teaching purposes, because Labubus aren't really this type of yarn, they're fuzzy. This is going to be a little more noticeable because it's like regular cotton and it's not fuzzy. Now we're just closing it from top to bottom. The last bit, we are going to do our knot, which is right before your loop closes. You go through it, that'll create a knot. And then to hide it, you're simply going to go in and out anywhere else in the back. And then you cut. And then you fluff it and it sucks it right in. Okay, now let's go on and start the head. Okay, so now we're gonna do our eyes, and for that you need black yarn and white yarn. Gosh, my black yarn is full of fluff from all the other yarns that were next to it. Okay, use your 2.5mm hook, and we are going to start off with a chain. So don't count your first loop, and then we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are worsted number 2, by the way. Very thin yarn. Not as thin as thread, but very thin compared to the body, because the eyes, you don't want any big gaps on it, so that's why I like to get very thin yarn for the eyes. Now we're gonna do single stitch 2, starting on the second one from the hook. 1, 2, and then on the last one we're going to do 3 single stitch in the corner, in that same corner one. 1, then you can move the little tail to the right and do the other 2, 2, and 3 in the same one. So it's like an increase, but by 3, not by 2. Now we continue on the other underside. So we're going to do single stitch 1, that was on the chain next to that corner one, and an increase on the edge. So 1 and 2. Okay, once you have that increase, we are going to switch yarn to the white one. So we grab our white yarn, and then on the inner loop we are going to single stitch 4, but let me get really close. It's very hard to see because obviously black yarn is hard to see, but I'm going to go to switch yarn. You will always start with the original color, start your stitch, and you end it with the new color. And then we're going to continue. Oops, I see a little bit of black there. Okay. And we are going to continue on the inner loop or front loop only. Alright, I'm doing it out. 1, 2, 3, 4 here on the edge, and then we're going to do HDC, which is a half double crochet, 2 double crochet, and an HDC, all in the same stitch, which is up here in this corner. So we wrapped it. That's HDC 1, 1 double in the same spot, 1, 2, second double in the same spot, another double, and a half double crochet in the same spot. Okay, that creates that extra white there at the top of the eyeball. And now we are going to do single crochet 4. So we go 1, 2, 3. Very hard to see in this black thread. And 4. We'll do an increase right here. Increase and one single crochet one just to finish it off, to try and close all the black that's left. And this is what it looks like. Now fasten off. To fasten off, I like to just pull some extra white. Some people like to fasten off with an extra like single crochet, but I think I'm gonna just fasten off by doing an extra single crochet there. Oh no, it looks weird. Let's just fasten off by cutting it, but leave at least 10 inches for sewing because you're gonna sew this to the head. And then fasten off by simply pulling it out. This is gonna be the front of your eye. And if you have that little weird ending like that, see how it's not perfectly round? Simply put your hook underneath, right where there's that extra black, and pull it through. Pull the white through. See that? That makes it round off a little bit better. Also cut all these threads in the back pretty short. All these little threads, you can cut them short if you want, are gonna go underneath when you sew these to the head. Okay, now for the teeth, you are going to use your white yarn, 2.5 millimeter hook, and we're going to start with 4 chains. So first loop doesn't count. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we start turning, single stitch 1 on the second chain from the hook. Single stitch 1. And then we're going to do half double crochet on the next one. On the next chain, HDC 1. And then we are going to chain 4 from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, on the second one from the hook, we're going to single stitch 1. And then we're going to HDC 1 on the next one. Okay, and then we're going to repeat this about 6 more times. These are little teeth. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Single stitch 1 on the second chain from the hook. HDC 1 on the next one. Okay, I got 3 little teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4. And HDC 1 on the next one. Now depending what size of yarn you're using, you might need to do more or less. If it's really thin, then your little teeth are going to be really tiny. This is worsted number 2. If you have worsted number 1, which is almost like thread, you might end up needing more teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if it's worsted number 3, which is very thick, maybe 4 or 5 teeth will be enough. But I saw that 7, 8 teeth is about the magic number for Labubus. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. HDC 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Single stitch 1. Oh, and the second single stitch 1. And HDC 1. Now let's see, for example, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did 8. Yeah, I'm gonna need one more for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And before you cut, just leave extra in case you need to do extra teeth, because you won't know how many you need until your head is done, right? So leave quite a bit, maybe 20 inches extra white yarn in case you need to add some teeth there. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. Now I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna leave a little extra just in case, because my head is not done. And I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm not gonna pull it through, just in case I need to continue chaining and we need to keep adding teeth. So Don't fasten it off, just leave it like that. You can put a marker there if you have a stitch marker. If not, just leave it on the side until we finish our head. Okay, so now we're gonna make our eyebrows. So grab your tan yarn, 2.5 millimeter hook. Okay, first loop does not count. And we are going to do 6 chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to do single stitch 5, starting on the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that is basically it. This is our little eyebrow. So now you're just going to fasten off. I already cut mine, but leave about 10 to 15 inches for sewing it to the head. And this is how I fasten off. I basically just pull it out. Pull it out and make 2 of these. And this is your little eyebrow. Alright, now we're going to start on the head. And to start on the head, we are going to make the face. And the face is going to be an oval shape, not a circle. So we do our slip knot, and then we are going to chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we're going to do 2 single stitch on the second chain from the hook. So we're going to do 1 and 2. And then we're going to single crochet on the whole chain. We're going to do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then on the very last one, we're going to do 4 single crochet. So it's like a double increase. We're going to do 2 before this little tail. And then we'll do the other 2 after. But it's still in the same hole. 2 before the tail. Now just push this over to the side. And we do the other 2 in the same hole. 1, 2. And that's how we start our oval. See, so we do 2 here, that increase, and then we do 4 here. And then right before we finish, we're going to end it with another increase here. That way you have 4 too, and it evens out the oval. So now we continue on the underside. We're going to do single stitch 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the last one here is 6. And we will do 2 single crochets on the very last edge, and that should finish our first round. So 1A, 1B. That finishes your first round. So now that we have our first oval, we are going to single stitch 20 all around. You should have 20 stitches when you're done. And even though we're not increasing, it should not mess up the shape because it's so small still. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. This is what we got. Now we can continue the pattern from here with row 3. So row 3, we are going to continue. We're going to start off by increasing right here in the corner. So we're going to do A, B. So we'll do increase and another increase next to it. Increase, so A, B, and then we're going to single stitch until the next corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So increase, increase, single stitch 7, and then increase in this corner. 1, 2, increase in this next one. So increase again. 1, 2, and then single stitch on the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so row 7 ends right here, and that's why for row 8 I just wrote 4 single stitch, but it's not really a full row. I just didn't want it to end there. I wanted it to end here at the corner. So now when you're here, this is where we're gonna switch yarn color. So to switch yarn color, remember, start it off with the old color, but finish it with the new color. You finish it with the new color, and then we continue from there with the next row. We are going to continue increasing, and we are going to continue increasing on the outer loop or back loop only, because when you crochet on the outer loop, it makes the color like pop. It's like it's grabbing the inside like this, so it'll make it look like it's coming out a little bit. You see this? When you crochet on the outer loop, the outer layer, you see that little divot right there? It's like, it looks like it's hugging the face. So just go all around on the outer loop. Now that we are at 28 stitches on our head, we are going to attach all the facial parts. So you know what, my hook is going to bother me there, so I'm going to put a stitch marker there just so I don't lose it. Hide your little leftover from your face. Oh, it's already inside. I already hid the color switch when I switch yarns. Those are already hidden, so let me just pull this one in. And we're going to hide this inside. Okay. You can cut these, they might bother you while we're sewing things in. Make sure you don't cut your active yarn that you're still crocheting with. I'm just cutting the yarn switches in the first piece that we leave before we start. Okay, so now here's the face. We're going to place our eyes right around where we want them. Okay. I'm going to cut the back ones a little bit shorter. And you're going to grab your yarn needle, your needle threader, pass the white from the eyeball, and here, let's start sewing. So I'm going to go right around the middle. I don't like, with this shape it's going to be hard to count. Let's see, maybe around about 4 rows from the top, 2, 3, 4, and about 5 from the side. That's around about where it goes. And simply hold it down and just go in and out of the white area. Okay, now I'm going in. The reason I don't like to close the face first is because, you know, I come out that way. Oh look, I had to go right through the needle. From all the places I can come out, I went right through my yarn. So let me thread this back. What are the odds? I went in between my yarn thread there. Okay, make sure you hide these little threads. Back out on the white. Make sure you don't grab any of your working yarn. I've had that happen before. And we're basically just going all around. So in and back out. In. You can pull it all the way through. And back out. I'm going to come back out in this corner that looks like it needs a little bit more white. There's a little bit of black showing too much, so I'm going to sew the white yarn on there. That way I hide some of that black stuff. There, I'm going right in that corner to hide it. So yeah, that's how you sew your eyeball, and this is how I fasten it. Go in, pull your yarn through that loop, and there's your first knot. Make a couple and pull your yarn through that loop before it's all the way through, and then you can just cut the leftover. Now we're gonna sew the second eye, the yarn through my needle. Let's see, we're gonna place it not too separate, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 stitches apart. Make sure it's the same height and the same distance. Gotta hide all these little threads behind the eyeball. Then go in and out. Now we're gonna go all around. Make sure you don't grab anything in the yarn. Just make sure you're in and out of the white area, not the black, not the pupil. all the way out. I'm gonna come back out down here. And I think I'll do the same thing I did with the other eye, which was came out this where there's a little bit of black, so I can hide it. I still see some black. I guess that's too far away. Right there. There, now there's no black left. And it's sewed all around. Make a little knot. I usually make at least 2. Put your needle through the loop. And then cut. And now we are going to attach the teeth. Here we see some black here. Okay. Now we can remember the teeth we didn't cut because we wanted to see if we had enough. Let me measure it. The Labubu's teeth start by the middle of the eye, right there, and they go all around to the other middle of the eye. So that would be enough teeth with this one. 6, 7, 8. 8 teeth seems to be enough right there. So I'm just going to pull through. I don't need to save enough. And now the way we attach it is we're going to use the yarn needle. And first we're going to attach this one side right on the middle of the eyeball. And 2 rows from the edge, so not on the very edge where the color changes, but 1 over. We're going to pull it in. There you go. And the first one, let's see, it's very short because this is where we started. I can probably have enough to tie to sew maybe 1 or 2 teeth. But I like to see right around. It's gonna end right there. So I have to space it out correctly. It's gonna end right there. Okay. I'm going to tie it. I don't sew anything with the first side. I don't want to confuse it with my yarn. Hold on. Oop. Because this is an active, still ongoing thread. It's very easy to get it tangled with your yarn. So basically with the first side of the teeth, we just tie it. Just make a knot. Okay? And then leave that there. Don't cut it yet, just in case you want to move it around later. Once you have your first side tied, then we can calculate right around where the last one goes, around the middle of the eye, right in the center, and 2 from the edge. So I should go right in there. If it doesn't work for you the same, just make less teeth or more teeth as you need, right? Because it all depends on the size of the yarn. So middle of the eye, and about 2 from the edge. Let's pull. Okay. So that's about right. I feel like I made too many teeth because sometimes they need to be a little higher, but I'll leave this one for now because it's already done. 7 teeth might work better than 8 teeth. So now the way I'm going to sew this is I basically am just going to do one little stitch on each tooth just to hold it still. And then I go in here. Let's go in the next tooth. Anywhere really, because since it's white, you know, you can't really tell where you're going. So I go in and out to the next tooth. I'm gonna go in and out to the next tooth. Some come out, some of my teeth were really pointing, some weren't. Just depends how tight you do your stitches. In the tooth, out the other tooth. Make sure you're keeping that smile shape. Don't pull too tight, you don't want to crunch up your teeth. This is just to hold it in place. Okay, and now pull it in. This tooth inside. And now you can tie it. You can do 1 or 2 if you want it extra secure. Okay, and then pull it and I hide the rest in there. Now what you're gonna do, we still need to put our eyebrows and the nose. So now we grab a piece of black yarn, I don't know, maybe 30 inches long, 40. I cut it already, it's about 40 inches long. You're gonna use your yarn needle. You're wondering what this is for? This is the smile. The actual smile is a black line. Okay. That's this thread up here above the teeth. So we're gonna grab it, make a knot at the one end, go pull it so it's longer than the other end. Now go in through the back, come out a little bit higher, 1 row higher than where your teeth start, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna make little lines all the way. I think this is called the back stitch. I'm not too familiar with the names of stitches, but I'll put on the pattern because by the time the pattern is written, it's all gonna be there. Okay, and we're going to come out right along the edge of the teeth, and then you're gonna go in. And make sure you don't, when you go in and out, you're not going through your pattern. Make sure you're coming out, and you're not touching the yarn. The thread that's in there doesn't matter. If you prefer not to be tangling it up, you can cut. But normally it doesn't really matter because it's all back there anyway. Okay, your next one, you come in a little bit further down the line. See where it comes out. and in where your last one ended. So basically we're gonna do, we're gonna go all around till one above. And now we will sew the eyebrows the same way. Basically, you put the shortest part through. That's the one that's going to place your eyebrows. They are going to go like right here. Okay, so you basically use the first piece of yarn to place it, but you're going to use the second piece to sew it. So we are going to sew over that little extra white eye, and it's gonna go on like that because Labubus look angry all the time. So you just go in and out all the way to the other side of the eyebrow, right there. Then like look at it, make sure you're happy with it. Some people might like it extra angry like that, some straight. Go in through the eyebrow itself, back into the head, pull it out. Now we do the top, so come out the top of the eyebrow and back in and into the head. Just like that. And do the same for the other eye. And out. And what you can do to tie it is you can tie this end to the first end. Just like this. Boop. Regular knot. And then cut both. Okay? And then go ahead and attach the second eyebrow. Okay, so we are going to make the nose. I just cut about 30 centimeters, like, let me see. I don't know, 20 inches of yarn, made a knot at the bottom, and go in through the back of the head. And we are going to go a little bit lower than the middle of the eyeballs. How about right there? It's a little bit higher. It's like right there, but then, yeah, right there. It's a little bit lower than the middle. And you're going to come out, count 3. So you're 1 where you came out from, and then 2, and then 3. And you're going to go in on that one. And then we're going to come down the middle, right in between it. Because basically we're going to make a triangle. You go back out that way. And you come out the same exact way, the bottom tip of the triangle. And then go in the back. Always making sure you're not going through any parts of your head. Now we are going to come out the bottom again. And we're going to grab onto this, the top of the nose. Because now we have to fill it. right? We're gonna go through the top, come out to the side here, go in through from the top again, come out the bottom side, and just pull. We're just trying to fill in all that space in between the triangle. Go back inside the bottom tip. That's where we'll end it. Or you can add an extra one on the side if you want some more. Okay, now that the nose is done, we're simply going to do a knot in the back. I always do 2. And then just cut. And your nose is done. Now what you can add is with some of your own blush or eyeshadows, put a little bit of blush here, right on the sides. I will do that after I'm done making the head. Now we're going to continue making the head. When we are done with the head, we are going to, after you're done decreasing, just pick out anywhere to pull the, pull the little bit of hair after you stuff it, pull it out and cut it. And then squeeze to hide the little bit that came out. And now our head is done. We still have to make the ears though, so let's go ahead and start that. Okay, so for the ears, we are going to grab our 3.5 hook yarn, 3.5 millimeters, and we are going to do 11 chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we're going to do DC double crochet 3, starting on the third chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to do a double crochet. 1, 2. We're going to do, like I said, 3 double crochets. So on the next one, we're going to do, on the next chain, another double crochet. We're going to do a total of 3 double crochets. And on the next chain, another double crochet. And then the next ones, we are going to do triple crochet, or what they call treble crochet. For treble crochet, you wrap twice around your hook, and then we do 5. So, okay, 1, 2, 3. There goes 1. And the next one, 1, 2, 3. Next one, 1, 2, 3. Next one, we have it done. 3. 1, 2, 3. You have done 4, right? 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And my last one, you are going to do a total of 5. 1, 2, 3. And then you leave about 15 inches or 10 inches for sewing. And out. That is one ear. This is one way to do it. Obviously, we could do it the 3D way, which would be crocheting an oval and then going up in the round. But these are quick and simple. Now let's make the second one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now we're going to do the inner ear, which is the color of the skin. With the same hook, 2.5, actually that was 3.5. So let's do 2.5. Get your skinny hook. And we are going to chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now starting on the third stitch, we're going to HDC 1. So that's the second, that's the third, that's the third. We're going to HDC 1. And then we're going to double crochet 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so once you're done with your inner ear, leave about 10 inches of yarn before cutting, and then see how your ears kind of bow inwards a little bit. So that'll be the front. If you like this side to be the front, then just do them this way. We're going to cut a piece of yarn from the body, same color. Now because I have this rainbow colored yarn, it's gonna be very different. It's not really gonna match, but we are going to basically sew it around here. Just sew all the way top and bottom. Use your needle and your needle threader, and then place this on top of your ear like this. I'm not even gonna knot the bottom. I'll figure that out later. Okay, I'm going to imagine there's a knot here at the bottom, but I'm just gonna leave it. Then I'm gonna go in and up. Now you can go just like when we did the mouth. You can go back one if you want it to be clean, a full line all the way. Now normally if you have fuzzy yarn, you're not gonna see the back side at all because the fuzz just kind of melts and it mixes in. Like this one, I did that, like I sewed it all around, but you can't see anything in the back because it's fuzzy. The fuzzy yarn is very good for staying invisible. This one, because it's not fuzzy, and I'm using this yarn mostly for showing you the stitches, because it's very hard to see the stitches on fuzzy yarn. So you're gonna see it on this one, you're gonna see it on the back a little bit. See? But if you use some sort of fluffy yarn for your Labubu, you're not gonna see that. In the back, you're gonna see it because this is this type of yarn. With fluffy yarn, it's gonna be no problem. So now all you gotta do is just cut. There's way too many, but all of these pieces, all of them, you're gonna grab when you put on top of the head, pull through, pull them out the back, cut, fluff the back again so they hide. Okay, so now let's attach the ears. I put a marker right in the middle, so I know where the middle is. And this ear, as you see, is bowed to the center. So this is the one that's gonna go right here. So you're gonna go right in the middle of your head. And this one, I'm just gonna go in and out the back. I'm not gonna sew with this one because it's pretty short. And I'll do that the same with all of these except the main pink one, the main fuzzy one. That's the one I'll use to sew across. So that's in. Let's do the second one. And let's put this one right in here. And we're just gonna go out. Boop. Okay, it's just to basically mark the location. And now I'm gonna do the same with these yellow ones. And I'm gonna go in and out the back. I'm trying to hide as many of these strings as possible, because too many gets confusing. So we are going to put this through. In and out the back. Okay. And now these are the ones we're going to use to sew. So let's use our needle. And we're going to go in and out the back, through the bottom, down under, and out the back. In and out the bottom. In and out the back. And then go in, out the bottom. In and out the bottom. And then you can do a little knot here where the ears are. Again, with fuzzy yarn, you're not gonna notice any knots. Although with these ones, it's also hard to notice either. In and out the back to hide the last piece. All of these will be cut, and they will disappear when you fluff it up. Boop, then they all disappear. Okay, now you're gonna get the second half of the ear. And we're gonna sew it. You don't have to sew it all the way in either. We have one little chain that was left. I like to put that towards the middle. Let's put it there. Remember when we chained 5, but there was 6 left. So that's just so that when it comes down, it goes in like this. And there's like a little lip there towards the middle. So poke it down in the center. And you can just poke it straight down the back. You don't need to sew the ear again. And you can cut and fluff it. Now the second ear, we're going to do the same thing. Hide all the threads first. Use the one from the outer edge, or the fuzzy one, to color. Now this one, remember, since they're bowed that way or this way, one will be like you'll be sewing at the back side, one on the front side, because the pattern is the same exact pattern. So obviously the ears will both face the same way. Okay, so now we're gonna make the arms. Make 2 of these. I'll show you one in the video, and you make the other one when we're done with this one. So you grab your tan yarn, 3.5 millimeter hook, and we're going to do a magic ring with 4 stitches. So single stitch 4 and magic ring. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then tighten it up. And then we're going to do the next 2 rows single stitch 4. now that we have these 4, we are going to switch color and increase at the same time, and we are going to we're going to increase to 6 stitches. So we got 4. So, and we're also going to do back loops only, or outer loops. So to switch, you do have to do it in the front loop only. It just makes it a smoother switch. Start with your tan color, but finish with your new color. Okay, that would be single stitch 1. And then we're going to increase. We're going to do single stitch 1, increase 2 times. So this next one is increase. Oh, and I said back loop only. So let's do back loop only. 1A, 1B, and then single stitch 2, back loop only again, I forgot. And then we're going to increase again, back loop only. So 2A, 2B, and then our next row we're going to increase again to 8. So we're going to do single stitch 2 and then increase 2 times. So, and we're going to do back loop only again. Single stitch 1, single stitch 2, and then increase 1A, 1B, and single stitch 1, single stitch 2, 2A, 2B. Okay, another. The next 3 rows, or 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, the next 4 rows, we're just gonna single stitch normal. Neither front loop nor back loop, just do normal 4 rows. Okay, once you're done, fast enough, leave about 10 inches for sewing, pull it off, hide all the pieces inside. Here, use the blue to mask that switch of yarn. Let's see, where would it look better? Yep, let's cover that part. We'll hide this skin color more at the top. And we'll hide the very last bit back inside. And we will cut all except don't cut the one you're sewing with. Be careful with that. Just cut all the stuff you were hiding. Some people just, you know, use the little wood stick or a pencil or a pen and just hide it back in and stuff it. Okay, and make 2 of these. Now let's attach everything together. We start with the body. Grab your body. Look for the head. It's about right in the middle. And we're just going to go in the middle, out the back. And I want it right around there. So we're going to go in and out, like in and out the back, and then in the head. I'm going to go counterclockwise. In the head and out the back of the head, and then the back. In and out the back again, towards the butt. Then in the head, in and out the head. Now we're going towards the front of the head. Now we're going down neck area, out the front, in the head, out more towards the front, down and out the front, in the head and towards the middle, in, you can see where I'm sewing it, in and out the back, the head in and out the back of the head. Again, if you use fluffy yarn, you're not even gonna see anything. You go in and out the back of the body, and in and out the back of the head. And about one time should suffice. Then you're gonna do the little knot. You go in and then go inside of the loop before it closes and pull. So you're doing your little knot. I like to do at least 2. In, inside the loop and pull. And then I'm going to go in the head, out the back, and cut. Okay, now we attach our arms. The arms are very close to the head. We're going to go in right here. So you go sideways to the shoulder, in and out. And inside the other end of the arm. And then we're going to go in the arm, into the body, out the edge, like armpit side of armpit. And then you're going to go back. I like to go, not under the arm, but go on top of the arm, into the body, out the back of the arm. Then go back in the edge, like on the side corner. Shoulder, I guess. Shoulder, into the body, out the bottom. Okay. Now I do like to make the knots where it's not too visible. So I'm going to go to the back of the arm. And then I'm going to make the knot here, like the closing knot. Maybe right here. Go in the little loop before it closes. And pull. And then hide in the arm. Pull it out the back. And cut. Now, do the same for your other arm. And it should be done. Okay. And your Labubu is done. You can shape the cotton. Shape it however you want. This one's not as fluffy, but depends which yarn you use.